I think the record button is now, it's ready. It's already recording. So again, I'll repeat. The shaded region is the shaded region is the rejection area. The unshaded region is the acceptance area. Okay? The value that separates the shaded and the acceptance area, the rejection area and the acceptance area is what we call the critical value. Later on, we'll talk about how to find the critical value. And later on as well, how are we going to present or illustrate the shaded or the rejection area. If our test statistic falls within or lands within the rejection area, we are going to be rejecting our null hypothesis. If our test statistic falls within the acceptance area, that means to say that we are going to accept our null hypothesis. So here, let's have an example on how to state the null hypothesis. A researcher, or null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis. A researcher thinks that if expectant mothers use vitamin pills, the birth weight of the babies will increase. The average birth weight of the population is 8.6 pounds. Can anyone tell me how do we state the null hypothesis? If you remember our last meeting, null hypothesis is a statement that would tell us that there's no difference between a population parameter and a specific statistic. So how do we state the null hypothesis for this example? For the sake of time, guys, I'm just going to give it to you because we started late. I don't know what happened. So let me annotate. The null hypothesis, or HO, will be equal to 8.6 because that's the population mean or the average. Okay, thank you. And the alternative hypothesis, guys, is going to be mu is greater than 8.6. Why did I use the word, or why did I use a symbol greater than? This is because of the statement that says will increase. Okay? Very good. And out of these two hypotheses statements, which one of them is the claim? When we say the claim, it's in the problem that tells you or tells us that is the proposed, or that's what the researcher thinks, or that's what the researcher asserts or provided. So out of these two statements, which one is the claim? The answer is going to be the alternative hypothesis. Why did I say it's alternative hypothesis, guys? This is because, take a look at the situation in the problem, guys. If we're going to read the first statement, a researcher thinks that if expectant mothers use vitamin pills, the birth weight of the babies will increase. So that's what he asserts. That's a researcher assertion. That's a researcher assertion nga, if an expectant mother will take vitamin pills, the weight of the baby will increase. That's why the alternative hypothesis is the claim. Okay? So I hope it's clear on your end. I'm going to erase the drawings, guys. So let me proceed to the next slide here. An engineer hypothesizes that the mean number of defects can be decreased in a manufacturing process of compact discs by using robots instead of humans for certain tasks. The number of defective discs per 1,000 is 18, or the mean number of defective discs per 1,000 is 18. What's going to be our null hypothesis? Good. The null hypothesis, good job, EJ. Where is my annotation? The null hypothesis, guys, is mu equals 18. Guys, whenever you write your answer, please avoid writing M. You might get used to the word by use the letter M, but that's not actually the right symbol. I understand because the walay di mo ka-type og mu sa keyboard. That's why you use the easiest one or the closest one. That's correct, EJ. And what's going to be our alternative hypothesis? Very good. mu is less than 18. Why did Velo said it's less than, sir? The answer, guys, is in the problem still. Can be decreased. Okay? Now, which one is the claim out of these two statements? Is it the null hypothesis or the alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis. Very good. That's the claim. There. So I believe everyone should know how to determine the claim as well as how to state the null hypothesis. So let's proceed to the next slide. Oops. Um, Let me erase. Okay. Erase the annotation. Okay. All right. So, this one, guys, the selection of correct statistical tool chooses an appropriate level of significance and formulates a plan for conducting the study. This is the things that you need to do after stating the hypothesis. I mean, after stating the null and alternative hypothesis. So these are the things that you need to do. Now, be careful with the statistical tool because there are a lot of them. Daghani silang statistical treatment, guys, or statistical tool. Daghan kaayo ni sila. And one thing that you need to consider is that you need to know nga which specific tool can be used to a specific problem. Because mo matter na siya, guys, kung unsa gipasabot sa problem and unsa sa gamiton nga tool dapat ana nga problem. Okay? So let's talk about our steps in doing hypothesis testing. These steps that you can see on your screen, guys, are steps that I consolidated from my different resources or references. Of course, your book is part of it na. There are books that would give you 9 steps. There are books that would give you 4 steps or 3 easy steps. But these steps that I'm showing you guys are 5 steps. Meaning to say, this is a consolidation of all the references that I have used in this lesson, in this course. So first, we have a state the hypothesis and identify the claim. So when we say state the hypothesis, we need to state the null and alternative. Second, find the critical values using the appropriate table. We also have different tables that we're going to be using, guys. Number 3 is compute the test value. This is another thing that you need to consider because there are a lot of test values to be used, and you need to make sure that you're using the correct one or the appropriate one. Number 4, make a decision whether you're going to reject the null hypothesis or accept the null hypothesis. Number 5 is to summarize your solution. So basically, guys, this type of lesson that we are dealing right now cannot be done as a multiple type of examination. So when an examination comes in, it'll not be a multiple choice. It'll be a step-by-step process. Okay? And just so you know, if you're going to ask me, sir, would it be possible, sir, na if marong ko sa one statement, marong and the rest of the, no, what I mean to say is that if marong ko sa one step, sir, marong and the rest of my steps, there is a huge chance. So you need to be careful because each step are interconnected. Kanang steps that you can see there are interconnected. So let's work on the first statistical tool that we're going to discuss, okay? The first statistical treatment that we're going to use or discuss. First is the z-test for mean. You need to be careful kanus ani siya gamiton. Kaya naman sa gitawag nga t-test for mean, z and t. Z-test for mean can only be used when the standard population or the population standard deviation is given. Kanang symbol nga na imorag O, guys, kani kanang symbol, imorag O, that's a symbol for population standard deviation. If in any case in the problem that's given, then automatically you are going to be using z-test for a mean. Okay? Z-test for a mean. And this is the formula that you see here. Z equals sample mean minus population mean over the standard deviation all over the square root of the sample. The n here is the sample size. And I hope you're familiar with this formula, guys. This is actually the formula for the central limit theorem that we covered last time. Okay? So again, When to use z-test? That's when the population standard deviation is given or known. The sample is randomly picked, and the sample size should be greater than 30 or not. If it's not greater than 30, the population is normally distributed. So those are the requirements for us to use the z-test to do hypothesis testing. So let's proceed to one specific example here. I'm going to take a screenshot of this item, guys, and then I'm going to show the solution using our whiteboard here. I hope it's visible on your end. Okay. The medical rehabilitation. No, this is not the right one. Lagi, dili na siya. Dapat kani. Lagi mo. Kana. Okay. Kana, cover na siya sa saktong example. Okay. A researcher wishes to see if the number of days that a basic, low-price, small automobile sits on dealer's lot is 29. A sample of 36 automobile dealers has a mean of 30.1 days for basic, low-price, small automobiles. At alpha, 0.05, so this is the level of significance that I mentioned earlier that I'm going to set or give. At alpha 0.05, test the claim that the mean is greater than 29 days. The standard deviation of the population is given by 3.8 days. So again, guys, we should know what type of test statistic we're going to be using for this problem. Because I've mentioned, daghan na sila. And I am not going to tell you na kana nga problem should be z-test, kana nga problem should be t-test, kana nga problem should be chi-square, kana nga problem should be ANOVA. Okay? So we have to remember these things. Now, as you can see, the standard deviation of the population is given or known. This would give us an idea that this test will be using the z-test for mean or for a mean. Okay? So going back sa kaning PowerPoint presentation kani. So since the population standard deviation is given, so we are going to be using the z-test for a mean. All right, so I hope it's clear. Let's proceed to the solution. For step 1, guys, let's try to determine or state the null hypothesis. So step 1. What's our null hypothesis and what's our alternative hypothesis? Anyone can answer. You can write your answers on our chat box. Okay. Jarek answered U or mu equals 30.1. Okay, that's a good answer, Jarek. But let's try to correct it. Good try, Jarek. Here's the idea. Remember the mu. Remember this one, guys. Remember this one. Unsa gini siya nga symbol? What is the symbol for? Symbol for what? I know it's a mean, but what is that mean for? What is that average coming from? Where is that average coming from? Very good. Population. Mean of the population. Jerick proposed the answer mu equals 30.1. Now let me ask you guys, that 30.1 mean that's in the problem, is that coming from the population or coming from the sample? Very good. It's coming from the sample. So in other words, we cannot use the answer of Jerick. We are going to correct it. Instead of using 30.1 Jerick, we're going to be using the 29. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So guys, whenever you answer problems like this, guys, you really have to read the statement or the situation and understand it. One way to understand is to try to relate yourself on what's going on with the problem. Okay? So according to the researcher, there is an average of 29 daw nga basic low price small automobiles nga dealers. So that's the average for the population. Now, what's our alternative hypothesis? Anyone can answer? Very good. Mu is greater than 29. Very good. Good catch. That is because that's you can see here. No? So guys, if nakabantay mo guys, ang answer you'd know how to complete the steps. These are just coming from the problem ra gyud. Basta nakasabot lang gid mo sa problem, you are good to go. Wala dinigyan mo problema guys. Now, let's try to identify which one of these two is the claim. Is it the null or the alternative? Nandugab mo nung koy. Very good. It's the null. It's the null hypothesis claim. Any question nga nung why null ang claim? No questions? No question why it's the null hypothesis is the claim because I'm going to proceed. Okay, so let's proceed to step 2, guys. Oh, let me use a black pen. Step 2. How to find the critical value. So using the normal curve, guys, using the normal curve. I know? Okay. Now, ang kaning step 2, guys, will be influenced by step 1. So you need to be careful in answering on our examination. Okay? If your step 1 is like this, however, your step 2 is different, it's going to be tagged as wrong. So you notice that step 1 uses an alternative hypothesis greater than. This means to say that the shaded region is on the right side. Okay? Sige, on the right side. Now, in any case that your alternative hypothesis is greater than, however, your shaded region in your step 2 is somewhere here, that's going to be wrong. I'm going to tag this as wrong because it doesn't make sense. Your alternative hypothesis says greater than, but your shaded region is less than. It's on the left side. So it doesn't make sense at all. Okay? So be careful on that. So that's going to be here. This is the area that we are talking about. Oops, what happened? I didn't ask for a triangle there. And this is somewhere the mean here. Okay? This is the rejection area. That's a shaded region. And the area of this region here, guys, is actually the alpha that I just gave in the problem. So the alpha is 0.05. Okay? Now, what's the area of the unshaded region? Kanidere, pila area ani? What do you think? Should I call people? Sige, let me call people. 9.5, are you sure? Kiana Kenya is right, 0.45. It's just 0.45, guys. Kaya ang kani half biya na. Ang whole kay 1 man, di ba? Remember? Half is 0.50. And then, kabaw na nga 0.05 ni. So, pilik ko lang para ma 0.50 is 45. Agree? Now, to find the critical value, guys, that's actually the value that we are looking for. Kanisha, unsay value ana dira. We already know unsay area sa non-shaded region. Kanang 4-5 nga non-shaded region nga area, guys, we're gonna find it, or we're gonna look at sa ato ang Z table here. Kani. If you notice, I don't think that we can find the exact value of 4-5, but we're gonna look at the number nga close to 4-5. So that's going to be kani 4495, and 4505. Tama? They both are equally close to 4, 5. In fact, ang mga distances kay tag 5 ka units. 5 ka units para mahimong 4, 5 ang 4495 and then 5 ka units sobra ang 4505 para mahimong 4, 5. So the z-score that we are gonna be using, guys, pili lang taaning duha, either 1.64 or 1.65. It's up to you kasi pilion nimo. And if you're going to check it, checking ana, of course, ako po na-consider nga either anang duha 1.64 or 1.65. Okay? So I'm gonna clear the drawing now. I'm gonna go back to the whiteboard. So here. So the critical value is going to be, I'm gonna be choosing the 1.64. So na kay critical value nga 1.64 CV. Step 3. Let's do step 3. Since we're using z-test for this problem, guys, we are going to be using the formula that I just showed you earlier, which is this one. Sorry, that's not the correct one. Okay. What is our sample mean? What is our X bar? X bar is a sample mean. Very good. It's 30.01. It slowly shows that our population mean is 29. What is our standard deviation? .8. Very good. And what is our N? What is our N? 36. Very good. Now, I want you to simplify this and tell me what's your answer. Using your calculator. Let me know what's the answer. How do I live? .17. I think EJ, you might want to double check. Okay. Oh, Jarek the sorry. Okay, Jarek corrected it. So yeah, you're correct now, Jarek. It's 1.74. Very good, guys. So we are already done with step 3. Step 4, guys, is connected to step 3. Okay? Step 4, make the decisions to reject or not to reject the null hypothesis by showing an illustration. So I'm gonna redraw the illustration that we did in step 2. So that's gonna be something like this. No? And then kana siya, and then this is 1.64 here. Yeah, this is the rejection area. Okay. Now, on your step 3, guys, where do you think does 1.74 land? Or where do you think does 1.74 belong to? Is it in the rejection area or acceptance area? Very good. The answer is in rejection area, in the rejection area, because 1.74 is clearly showing somewhere here. 1.74, it's in fact 10 units after 1.64. So basically, because 1.74 lands in the rejection area, our decision for step 4 is to reject the null hypothesis. So reject the null hypothesis. Or you can just say reject HO. Because HO is the null hypothesis. Step 5. Step 5, guys, is going to be summarize the result. So summarize the result. Step 5. So this step 5, guys, would be a decision making whether this one here would be realized or not. So because we are rejecting HO, this one here, we are rejecting HO, this means to say that this HA here is technically true. So you have a lot of way to state your step 5 or solution or summary. You can say, yes, it is true that the population mean should be greater than 29. That's one statement. That's one answer. Or you can say, there is no, or there's not enough, enough evidence to support the claim. That's one way to state it. In other words, kung imo na siyang bisayaon in your layman's term on how you understand it, wala tay saktong ebidensya nga atong isupport ang claim, which is the null hypothesis, because we are rejecting it in step 4. Questions so far? Hagikan on 164. So let's go back to step 2. Okay. Do you have a question nga nung 0.05 ng shaded region here? Kani, do you have a question nga nung 0.05 ni? Let me know, yes or no. Very good. No, okay, given man na. That's the alpha. Very good. Do you have a question nga nung 0.45 ng non-shaded region kani here? No, said sir. Okay. Ang tunga sa curve, sir, is 0.50 man niya. If ang the other side is shaded nga 0.05, it follows ang nahabilin nga non-shaded gikan sa middle, sir, is 0.45. Tama? Karon, ang kanang 0.45, guys, you go to our z-score. Kita mo ng z-score na to here? Can you see it? Or no? What do you see on your end, guys? What are you seeing? Okay, you can see it. So, katong 0.45, guys, remember ni anak ko before nga, kanang mga areas na naa sa white region are areas coming from a z-score starting from the middle, which is 0, to a specific z-score. So, ang kaning nga area is from the middle to a specific z-score. So, we should be focusing ourselves sa areas at 0.45 when we use this table here. Now, try to look at kung makita nimo ang 0.45 in your table. Kana dira. I bet wa kay makita nga 0.45. Pero, na kay makita nga close to 0.45. Ang close ana, guys, is kani 0.4995 o kaning 0.4505. Agree? Do you agree nga kaning these two numbers are equally close to 0.45? Yes or no? Yes, they are equally close. In fact, tag 5 units ilang distansya para ma-equal to 0.45. Tama? I see. So if you notice na duha ka buok option, 164, 1.64 kana or ang 1.65. So you choose either of the two, 1.64 or 1.65. Ang ako lang gipili sa to ang solution is 1.64. But if you want to use 1.65, that's totally fine. It doesn't matter to me. Okay? What matters is your presentation from step 1 to step 2. Good. So na-clear na? Yun sa pagkuha. I'm gonna erase the drawings na hakay. Kuan. Ako na erase ang drawings ha. Sige. And go back here na sa kuan. Sa whiteboard. So mo ng 1.64. Very good. So no questions so far for our first example. So let's work on our second example. Let me take a screenshot of it here. Sige, kani. What happened? Sige, let me scroll down and paste the example. Akong agi ba kay mo galupad? Ako nang tarungan ng agi bi. Sige, let's have this example here. Okay. All right. Ana. I hope you can read it. A researcher claims that the average costs of men's athletic shoes is less than 4,080 pesos. He then selects a random sample of 36 pairs of shoes from a catalog and finds the following costs. So, ang kanang cost nga naa sa ubos, guys, mo ng different costs from the catalog for the 36 pairs of shoes. The question here is there enough evidence to support the researcher's claim at alpha 0.10? Assume the standard deviation. Unsa ni siya nga symbol, guys? What is this symbol for? I know it's standard deviation, but from what part na siya? Is it from the population part or the sample part? What do you think? Very good. Population SD. So be careful sa mo, guys, ha. Though dili siya explicitly mentions a problem nga population standard deviation good, some problems would only use the symbol. And you should, that's why that's the important thing, you are familiar with the symbol. Okay, even though dili siya explicitly mentions a problem, you are aware nga kana nga symbol stands for population standard deviation. Okay? Very good. So with that being said, we already know what type of test we are going to use for this problem. It's going to be z-test for a mean. Amen? So let's start with step 1. Statement of hypothesis. What's our null hypothesis this time? Anyone can answer what's our null hypothesis? Good. So the mean is 4,080. Very good. And what's more siya akong agi ba kayo nagslanting? Tarong ko na ko, B. HA. So what's our alternative hypothesis? Someone was trying to get in. Kisa to. Unaccept din ako. What's our alternative hypothesis? Okay. Kiana answered, Pia and Sano answered less than 480. Very good, guys. Because of the, where is that? Less than. Good. And which one of these two is the claim? Null or alternative? Alternative? Yes, it is alternative. So this is the claim, guys. Claim. All right. So step 2, we are now going to determine the the critical value. So let's do an illustration. Now, this is what I'm trying to say earlier. Whatever your alternative hypothesis in your step 1, guys, that would affect the presentation that you're going to do on your step 2. So if you notice, since your alternative hypothesis in step 1 uses less than, it should have the shaded region located on the left. So this is going to be the scenario now. That's the rejection region. And the area for that region is the alpha given in the problem, which is 0.10. Amen? And then I'm going to draw a line in between. So if the shaded region has an area of 0.10, what's the area of the non-shaded region? Very good. 0.4, 0.000. Does it make sense? Okay. Now, we're going to be using the Z table to look for the area ng 0.4000. Clear? So here, asa kahaan ng 0.400. And if you can find anything, guys, choose the closest one. If you have printed, if you have a copy or clear copy on your end there, please tell me what's the area that is close or closest to 0.4000. Go. Okay. 1.2. Okay. Good answers, Kiana and Velos Daniela. But the thing is, which one is closer? Is it 0.3997 or 0.4015? How far is 0.3997 to 4? And how far is 0.40 to 4015? Unsa man jud? So no, you're able to identify no nga it's 0.3997 and as well as 0.4015. So choose out of these two which one is closer to 0.45. It's 128. Michaela said 128, Velo said 128, EJ said 128. It's not 1.29 because 1.29, guys, that has an area of 4015, which is 15 units to get to 4, 15 units more. But the 0.3997 only needs 3 units para mahimong 0.4000. Agree? So in other words, our critical value is 1.28. Another twist, because it's in the left side, we're going to make it as negative 1.28. Follow? Are we good? Question. All right, so no question, huh? Let's do step 3. Because we know that this is a z-test, what's our sample mean, guys? What's our sample mean? Wata kay Bao. Kaya nga naman, we are still gonna be solving it because of these data that I provided here. So there are problems in the test, guys, nga dili specifically provide right away the sample mean. Yet you have to solve it first, okay? Using my Excel, I have listed all the scores that we have here in this format here. So I have typed all the scores or all the prices. So I'm just going to highlight it, go down to the last item. So I have 36 items. At the bottom part of your Excel, guys, you would see the average there. See this? The average is 3,823.83 or 382383. So 382383 minus the population mean is 4,080 over the standard deviation of 9.79.20 square root of 36. Please let me know what's the answer. The answer is negative 1.57. Perfect. Now, to step 4, guys. Step 4. Step 4. Do we reject the null hypothesis or accept the null hypothesis? Accept? Tanawa daw, Jeric. So, guys, for step 4, guys, you don't even have to reject the I. You don't even have to redraw the illustration, guys. You can just go back to step 2 and locate asa na belong si step 3 nga value. So, step 3 is somewhere here, no? Negative 1.57. If this 1 point, so nasa dito skilid. It follows nga, in other words, we are going to reject. So, we're gonna be rejecting the HO. Again, do not forget to write HO. Reject HO or accept HO na ang step 4. Okay? If we're going to write reject, I'm gonna tag this as wrong. Kung sa may reject na ko, ang HO ba or ang HA ba or ang iyang feelings. Okay? So you have to complete your answer. Reject HO. Step 5, guys, is what? You can summarize. So give me one summary, please. Go. Give me one summary. One statement to summarize the solution. Dili ang alternative. Dili. So step 4, guys, it's always the HO ra gyud. It's always the HO. So step 4, guys, it's either to accept HO or reject HO ra gyud. Wa ayaw pagunahon na sa HA. So, karon can tell me, or can someone type, anyone can type one statement that would summarize the solution. Go. And I'll try to evaluate if your answer makes sense. Go, delete. There is not enough evidence to support the null hypothesis. That's one way of saying it. But you don't need to end it with a question mark. It's a period. It's a declarative sentence. Okay, that's another answer. There's enough evidence to support the researcher's claim. Very good. Kaya ang implication na ng EJ Sano nga statement, guys, she is accepting the alternative hypothesis. Because in the first place, we rejected the null. And when we reject the null, we accepted the alternative hypothesis. Does it make sense? Sige. So I'm gonna write Sano's answer here. Oops, no. Ang imong answer pod Velos, I would accept that as well. So it's not an incorrect answer. You just have to end it with a period. Okay? So that's step 5 guys by Sano. And also ako na sa isuwat kang kuanbi, kang Velos. So we can choose either kang Velos or kang Sanong answers. Okay, kana. Kang Velos kay there's enough evidence to support the claim or the researcher's claim. Kang Velos kay there's not enough evidence to support the null hypothesis. Because in the first place, we are rejecting it. We're not supporting the null hypothesis. So sakto gyapon si Velos. Okay. Nangutana ko sir if correct ang answer. Yes, it is correct, Inday. Congratulations. O diba? Lahi ra gining kanang mga bright ta. Charot. Bright ta aning math, guys. Anyway, no questions so far for this item. Wala? Okay. So let's proceed to one more example, and this is going to be the last example, guys. Hi, kutas mag-discuss og stat, guys. Swear. Kanang wordy siya at the same time daghan og numbers. Anyway, so let's proceed to this item here. Let's do this. We can do this, girls. Wait, what happened? Nga ni gamay man Okay. Saan naman ni? Ano naman ni, uy? Ano naman ni? Launo kasabot sa kuang-kuan. Uy! Ala ha? Oh, dara. So, skanara day ang gihuwat. Ma-move day siya glaing place. Okay. So, let's work on the last item, example number 3. No? Na I twist ani guys, and it's different from the other first two examples. But ang step 3, 4, and 5, it would be the same thing. Similar sila ha. Pero ang step 1, ang step 2 rin nalahi ani. Sige. A Medical Rehabilitation Education Foundation reports that the average cost of rehabilitation for stroke victims is $24,627. To see if the average cost of rehabilitation is different at a particular hospital, a researcher selects a random sample of 35 stroke victims at the hospital and finds that the average of this sample is $26,347. The standard deviation of the population is $3,251. At alpha 0.01, can it be concluded that the average cost of stroke rehabilitation at a particular hospital is different from 24,627? Okay, so I'm gonna try to challenge since we still have 12 minutes to work on. Guys, what's your null hypothesis for step 1 here? Sige, I'll try to ask from you. What's your null hypothesis? I'm gonna sing from the chandeliers. Ay, my bad. Typo na guys. Thank you so much, Kiana. Typo na guys. Thank you so much for that catch, Kiana. They should be the same. So, sige. For the sake ni Kiana, I'm gonna erase this, guys. I'm gonna correct it. Thank you so much. Ato siya correct, guys, kay kanang there's still room for correction pa man, o, diba? Sige, let me take another screenshot and then paste it there. I think this is better now. No? There you go. So your mu, according to Pia, is 24,627. Perfect. So 24,627. And your, sorry, that's null di ay null. Mura mo siya A, oy. Sorry. Basig malipat na mo. That's null. And what's our alternative hypothesis, guys? Sige. That's a challenge. Let me know if you can answer. I mean, if you have an idea, what's the answer? Okay, very good. It's not equal to 24,627. Nga not equal to, guys? Nga Pia, nga EJ, why do you say so? Why do you propose those? Why do you propose the symbol nga not equal to? Very good. Different ang word. That's actually the answer. So guys, again, nakabantay mo nga ang mga clues ba kanara sa problem. If kabawalan jud mo mangita sa clues nga nasa problem, dali na jud kayo. So which one is the claim here? Null or alternative? Very good. It's the null. Tara. The Medical Rehabilitation Education reported that, or reports nga, ang average cost daw is equal to 24,627. Sige, ang nakalahian ng step 2, guys, no? I'm just gonna show it to you ha para ma-save ang ma-save tag oras. I'm gonna illustrate it in this way here. Now, pasensya ito ng illustration. If you notice, kani siya nasa left side because the symbol uses less than. Ang first example, nasa right side because the symbol uses greater than. The alternative hypotheses, right? However, our problem number 3 uses not equal to. This means to say that we should be having 2 tails. So one tail on this side here and one tail on this side here. Now, the problem here, guys, is we're given an alpha of 0.01. So asa man ang alpha nga 0.01? Diri or diri? That's a good question. What you're going to do is you are going to divide the alpha by 2. And that's going to be 0.01 over 2, which would give us 0.005. So that means to say, guys, ng area ng shaded region is each 0.005. Kani po siya here, area ana is 0.005. Follow? Are we good? Now, what's the area of the non-shaded region? Kani diri? Pila kaha? Very good, Kiana. Paspasa, Kiana, 0.4950 or 495. And DJ, sakto. We're gonna find this area sa to ang Z table. And if we can't find it, we're gonna look for the closest one. So, asa ka ng 495, 4950 sish. So, asa ka na diri, 4950. Kani? 4949 o 4951. Sakto? Tama? Yes, sir. They are equally, they have the same distance from they are equally far from 0.495. Agree? So we have the option to choose either 2.57 or 2.58. Pasensya na kay di ko kabang mo drawing using mouse ang gamit, guys. Kana o kana. Question so far? Wala. So I'm gonna clear it. I'm gonna go back to the previous slide. Hopefully, maapil lagi siya. So annotate and then clear drawings. Okay. So 2.57 ang atong gamiton, guys. But you can also use 2.58. So 2.57 here, that's positive because that's on the right. Kani po siya here, it's negative 2.57. Okay? Now, let's work on step number 3. So step number 3, z equals sample mean, mu over standard deviation over square root of n. So what's our sample mean in the problem? Pagamihan ako para makita ninyo. Kana makita pa guys, makabasa pa. What's the sample mean in the problem? 26,343, tama? So 26,343 minus population mean of 24,627 over the standard deviation of 3,251 over square root of 35 stroke victims. Sige, pila na. Using my calculator. 26. Dili na point guys sa kama na 26, 343 minus 24,627 over 3,251 over square root of 35. What's the answer? 3.12. Very good. 3.12. There. So, step 4, guys, you don't have to redraw it. Imo na lang i-check back sa step 2. So, asa man na belong sa 3.12? Rejection area, acceptance area. Acceptance? Si Jeric pa, pero ni malipat. Taro nga daw, Jeric. Asa nasud si 3.12? Jeric, duka Jeric. Well, anyway, good job, Jeric. Please go review sa imong mga kuan ha. Feel ko malipat-lipat ka sa mga numbers. So yeah, we're going to reject the null hypothesis because the 3.12 lands here, somewhere here, no? If kana siya nga number, napa na somewhere diri sa non-shaded region, ato i-accept ang null. Okay? So atong step 5, guys, is going to be what statement we can have. We can say there is not enough evidence to support the claim which is the null hypothesis. And you're done. So, mo na ang difference when you're going to have a not equal to. So within this week, guys, I'm not going to give you an assignment, but I'm going to upload a performance task for the 3rd quarter so that I would be able to compute your grades and upload it in CSIS, and you should be able to view them. Okay? So questions so far. Ang deadline kay Friday, 11:59 p.m. Thank you so much for asking, Luis. Luis or Lois? How do you say it? Lois or Luis? Lahi mo tong Luis kay L-O-U, mong tong Luis. I think Lois. Lois, no? Sakto po. Tinira ka mo katong assignments, Jeric, for 3rd quarter. Yeah, I just did. Michaela, can you access it? I just did. I don't know what happened because I'm pretty sure nga na-ready na gini ako tanan diri before ko nag-create sa ako ning gi-make sure nga before ko na to gabi nga ma-ready ang STEM 11D, 11E ug 11F sa mga scheduling, pero ang namang question nga last time is kani I don't know nga nung na-delete siya. Ako nang i-upload kuan kanang sana Michaela. Yeah. Unsa di ay? Ang previous man kaha, di ba maoni? Maoni, oy, humanan niyo. Humanon ni mo. Maabot ni sa katong previous kan. So, pila may sample? OMG, lahi gid bitaw. Wait sa, guys. Wait sa, nga na dito. Wait sa, guys. Ha, nga na dito. Ay, feel ko maoni. Mo ba ni? Ay, maoni. Feel ko maoni. Wait sa, ha? Are you seeing it? Oh, maoni. Feel ko maoni, guys. Sige. Okay, let me edit this. Kani edit ni dapat. Edit. And kana siya. Save. I think mauna na. Updated na siya, Mikaela. Kapasa mo sa messages na mong Kyle. So I'm gonna stop sharing na. Ha? I hope you can view it na, guys. There. Very good. So guys, no more questions so far with our discussion today. Later on, I'm gonna be uploading the recording for this session, side. Good. Thank you so much, Mikaela. I don't know what really happened because akong make sure gyud before ko natug gabi guys sa waha awa guys ha screen. Okay, kuha man ni guys, I was working sa statistics and probability as well as sa basic calculus. And then I made sure nga every lesson nga before ko mag-watch or before ko matug the following day or a day before sa actual discussion kaya ako nang make sure nga ma-ready. Na-ready na ko ang basic cal and na-ready na ko ang 11D, 11E, 11F nga stat. Yeah, di ko sure nga nawa ganiha. I'm not really so sure, but yeah. That's it. Thank you so much, guys. Do you have any questions so far? Stop sharing na ko. Okay, thank you so much. And you do take care, guys. Buyers, take care, everyone. Yay, the day is over. Mag-ML na ko kay doka kaayamin. Whole day class. Oh my God.